Hi guys, Markera for the Strong here, and I'm wrapping up 43 and what it doesn't mean with the third and final part. And I want to touch on authenticity and being unapologetically me. I find myself wondering a lot lately why authenticity scares people, wondering what it even means to them. I think what we walk around with looking at ourselves from the inside is radically different from what others behold when they see us and interact with us from their own point of view inside themselves. Does that just make sense? It's a crazy thing to consider that oftentimes, because of our interactions with others, a rhythm forms of what is expected. And sometimes that causes us to repress certain things. We feel the disapproval or the dislike. And so we mold and shapeshift and contort to appease others. And sometimes it's not even a conscious action. Um, and by the way, I'm digging into mother hunger this year. I've got the recording started for that. So join me along for that. Or come along with me for the ride in that book. That sprang to mind just now because I realized a lot of it also springs from mother hunger as well. Just situations where conditioning has fully brainwashed us into certain thought processes and behaviors are the right way, the only proper way for something to exist in this life. I I don't know, I can remember just a period of time when I went through grieving when my father passed and my mom locked away in herself. And I can remember trying to stay out of the way, trying to be good and not upset her because she was upset enough as it is. And it had an effect on me to a certain degree where I didn't want to be a bother to other people. So at that age, I was 11, not even knowing how to ask someone if they can be there for me while the whole family adjusts to this new dynamic, it just was completely an awkward, hard to explain time in our lives that I don't even recall when we shifted out of it. I do know that it was just scary watching my whole world shift the way it did and watching the portal through which I came into the world shift into herself as she tried to grasp her new reality. And she slept in our room. She moved out of her and my dad's room, and she would sleep in our room. And she'd be there. I can remember that, but I just remember her not being able to properly function under the weight of what all of this meant. And it wasn't until years later. Well, I had my grade 5 teacher to help me through it. She talked, she supported me, and thankfully, I think that's probably how I did get through it. So to say I didn't have the support I needed is not entirely true because I had her the whole time my dad was sick, and then when he died, and I had her for years after as someone I could go to who had that mothering energy. But years later, my mom asked if I held anything against her um, because she did her best as our mom when we were growing up, with what she had, with what she knew. And so she's concerned that I held a grudge against her for infractions she may have not realized she committed. My mom asking me such a question caught me so off guard because, I mean, every parent child relationship has its bumps, its moments, you know, its ups and its downs. And with my mom and I, we were crazy close. So I would think that she would know that whatever she felt that may have been an infraction was all good. But she needed to know because there were other situations going on where grudges were being aired out against her that she had no idea about. And she was blindsided by because she was close to the people who were airing these grudges. And so she just wanted to make sure I wasn't. But I didn't think that whatever that I had to process from growing up would directly be something she would be responsible for healing. And that's what mother hunger gets into. And I think that's where a lot, like I start off saying, our authenticity is affected because we are sort of just trying to put forward certain things so that stigmas aren't applied to us, so that our behaviors aren't seen as taboo, or we upset the wrong people or give the wrong impression. And there's a time and place for everything. There are times that you do need to give a good impression, but you need to have that line in the sand where, yeah, I'm putting my good foot forward, but this is who I am. And, I see the memes all the time about women who are too much or who are too independent, too outspoken, too this, too that, and, to embrace it, to love it, because someone out there will. And it's something that a lot of us try to tamp down in order to let other people shine, or because our self-confidence just isn't at the level it should be, or that there's this perception that our confidence is seen as arrogance or disrespect. And it isn't. There are going to be people who are not wanting to be forward in the limelight, who are not going to want to be seen, even if their profession requires a certain level of involvement with the public. There are still people who prefer to be almost reclused, as opposed to other people who have something to say and they are more open and bold and more at the forefront with what they say and how they say it. To be judged for being either is just highly ridiculous. And it's something that I think I and others have struggled with because there's always just been that too much. You're too this, you're too that, you need to do this, you need to do that. There are also like discussions being had about how report cards would say this person needs to speak up more, say something, or participate more, and this person needs to quiet down. Like my report card always stated that I needed to chill, basically. Like no matter who the teacher put me next to, I would talk. And there were times I ended up to a desk beside the teacher. The thing about it was, the issue wasn't me not getting my work done, because I got my work done and I made great grades. It was that I also distracted the other kids, and some of those kids were not getting their work done. I don't know. It's just so funny, but my whole take on school is a whole other discussion to be had another day. It's not, yeah. When, I mean, I could touch on it, especially when it comes to authenticity and understanding that that's a place that you can't be your authentic self either. Because, like I'm saying, the teacher is saying that I'm do this, that, and the third. So it's requiring me to tamp down a part of myself. And the problem with squashing parts of ourselves to fit the convenience of other people is the fact that you sometimes end up either struggling with that your whole life, because no matter what, Michael Parkard consistently said that I talk too much. And then you look at the professions I ended up in, and it's like, oh, that's why. But you have others who sort of kill that part of themselves, and then that fucks with their confidence, and whatever they may have to give to the world that could be absolutely amazing and uplifting and encouraging, it's never heard. It's never brought out because they've killed that part of themselves in an attempt to please other people. And my call to authenticity isn't about, like I said, it's not about disrespecting other people, but it's also about finding your people. It's about finding people who will take you as you are, who will hear what you have to say and be like, damn, that's a word, you know? And I found myself looking at people who a lot of people are like, whoa, no. But I find those people interesting. I find their confidence amazing. And you know who I also have an interest in? People who are like told that they're loud and that they're wrong. Some of them are so confident in their quote unquote wrong outlook. And it's that confidence that I admire. It's that pushing forward and standing up and saying XYZ, and I don't give a fuck. And it's just like, yeah, like, own that shit. And the ones who can come back and apologize, or who can come back and say, hey, I didn't know, but I checked into it and I learned this, that, and that, even better. Even better. Because you're owning the fact that you don't know everything, and you're owning the fact that you may have been entirely wrong about something. And to me, that's just such a genuine thing with people who can be that self-aware. And I think that's another thing that affects authenticity. Self-awareness. A lot of people just aren't self-aware. A lot of people just exist and they go with the flow. They're like those, I would say, like the fish in the middle of the school of fish, who you got a school of fish to swim in. And in my mind, I don't know if it's scientifically correct, but in my mind, you have a school of fish, and those in the front are like in charge of which direction everyone's going in. They're in charge of ducking danger. They're just in charge of like what's happening. And to me, the back is sort of like extra security in a way that also have some say in what's happening. The middle to me is they're just going along for the ride. They don't have to worry about anything. They're just there. It doesn't matter if that fish in the front turns left. Oh, we got to turn left. No one's asking why we got to turn left. No one's asking what's left. No one's asking what if I don't want to go left. It's just, oh, that fish is turning left, so let's go. Right? And I feel like that's how a lot of people are. They're not questioning anything. They are not wondering about anything. They're just following every trend, every idea. They may put their own spin on it, but they're not aware of their actions affecting other people. They're not aware of people's actions affecting them. They're not aware of anything beyond their unit of existence. And to me, that's kind of scary. It feels like I'm an overthinker, so a mind that does not that does not ask questions blows my mind. I don't know. That's just where I'm at with that. Like, a mind that doesn't go what, why, where, how, who. I'm not asking you to go from 0 to 1,000 the way I overthink, but just the basic, you know, it 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 blows my mind because I'm always, and that was another thing as a kid too. Is like I was always accused of wanting the last word or not just following instructions blindly, just having to know why. You couldn't. It wasn't always, hey, do that, and I did it. Sometimes it was just like I didn't do it right away, or I wanted to know why I had to do that instead of this. It's just once I understood, then it's no problem. And my kids are the exact same way. So you, to me, that's how generational dysfunction gets broken, because you could have a habit in a family that just continues and no one is asking why the fuck are we doing this, and it just continues to go on until someone says, hey, done with that bullshit. I don't know why we still doing that. I don't know why. It's not making any sense. It's not productive. It's not enhancing, encouraging, uplifting. Let's quit that shit. And then you'll have people in the family who are adamant that it has to be done, and it's just like, no, why? What are we, and then they quick to call that person a black sheep when it's just literally a dysfunctional thing that should be stopped, and people are clinging to it for all the wrong reasons. And that's another thing. I feel like that squashes authenticity as well, because if you stand up against something, that's your space and this is where your mind is at. You have a lot of people who just want to railroad that for the sake of appearances, for the sake of tradition, for the sake of just not ruffling any feathers. And I have learned to embrace not being that person. It's come with a lot of not so pleasant experiences in regards to learning who is for me and who isn't for me, whether that be a DNA sharer or not. But it also has made my life a bit more peaceful, and it's made me able to stand up and say, nah, I'm not putting up with that. I'm not going to deal with that. It's made me able to compromise better and understand why I'm compromising and how to compromise, how to help other people compromise without sacrificing everything. And I think that's something we work on for the rest of our lives. That's something you don't become an expert at. It's just day by day, situation by situation. I still fuck up and let people in that I shouldn't have let in. I still fuck up and entertain people for longer than I should entertain them. But I think that's just life. That's just us going through and learning. But I hope this made sense. I hope that you got something from it. This has been 43 and what it doesn't mean. And like I said, I'm working on Mother Hunger by Kelly McDaniel. So if you want to get a copy of that, or if you have a copy of it, look out for when I start dropping those videos or maybe recordings like this about my journey through the book. And I'm looking to get a few of my clients to chip in what they've discovered and whatnot about the things that Kelly McDaniel has brought to the forefront for them. So don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one. And if you're interested in the coloring book that I'm using in the video, the information for that is in the description box below. Bye.